you can do that, or we can leave and come back as well.
So I don't know if you guys, did everyone see the email I sent out earlier today?
Yes.
No.
It had all the times of the discussion and the direction of the discussion.
Yes. So if you go to your emails, your BYU email, well, I sent it to all the emails. But the goal is to do every 5 minutes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep a timer. For every 5 minutes.
D2, do you want me to do the timer just because you're doing so much?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Sorry.
So right now, we're going to give Baxter the first 5 minutes to talk about their game plan. And then the next 5 minutes, it's going to go to the union. And then the leaders will discuss. All right? So the next 15 minutes, that's what's going to go on. And after that 15 minutes, we'll all come together and I'll tell you what the first consensus was. Does anybody have any questions with that? So, Brianne, start the first timer for the first 5 minutes. And everyone who's in the union, take out your earplugs. For the next 5 minutes, it's Baxter.
I'm just muting my computer.
All right. Baxter, we should have Ben and D1. Derek, correct?
What's up?
All right. Did you guys read the case for us?
Yeah, I read the case.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the critical points that I see are termination, see page 2.
On which
on the
reading?
Baxter. See, we had the 78, we had the 83, and then we had the Baxter Confidential. So the 78
I just thought
and the 83.
I saw 2 documents.
Yeah, I only saw the 2 as well.
Okay. See here, I learned
The 7.
because there was the 7. What it was, the 78 and then the 83 gave us history of the relationship between the 2 organizations.
There's just 2 weeks, right? And that's what I saw was 2 weeks.
And I think it's one of the next assignments down. I'm trying to find it right now.
Shoot.
All right, so it's lesson 11, Baxter Corp. 1985 negotiations is the assignment. And then in there, they have 2 links, one for Baxter and one for Union.
Maybe this is what we look at while we're in here. I think I read. Yeah, I read both these. These 2 links were. There's one. What does it say? Is that a? Well, I think these were the 2 documents that we read before.
Does it say 1985?
No, the other ones are the 78 and the 83.
Okay.
I'm sorry, James. I'll read that when we are on our next break, or when the union team is going. I apologize.
Okay, no worries. So with that, if you'll make notes, page 2, first paragraph, is a critical point. Page 3, the first 2 paragraphs are critical. Page 3, last paragraph, and page 4, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, and 5.
Private message me that, James. What you're saying.
What's that?
Can you private message me where you're saying the critical points are? Private message me and Ben.
You want me to message you?
Yeah, so I can focus on those.
Yes, I will actually send you my document right now to both of you.
So this, what was that? This is what was talking about in the email. Huh? I understand. Background. So we read the background, I guess, huh?
Yes, you read the.
And then he's saying in 1983 and 1985 is when negotiations, but this is just in the file.
So Brienne just showed that we have 1 minute left on our timer. Is there questions that we can be thinking about, James, or what?
Yes.
For this first block, what?
First block, we're supposed to be coming up with what we're going to be flexible and how we're going to approach the negotiations. So I just emailed that to both of you.
Okay.
I've got my ideas of kind of how I want to approach this as a leader with D2 when we meet. So let's extend our time as a group and converse through a Google HOA, and I will start that going.
Oh, so you highlighted this in Explorer, huh?
Yes, I've already read that. The yellow was my first pass, and then the red are the critical points that we have to, that upper management wants us to ensure we address, and that's their position. I love that duck sound.
I thought it was funny.
All right, turning the tables over to Union. Muting and pulling microphone.
Okay. Thanks.
So it's us, right?
Yep, we're good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Is everyone on board? Do we have Steven? Do we have Mark?
Mark, are you there?
Steven, you there?
Yep.
Okay.
So just to give a little background, we're in the 1983 negotiations.
Okay.
So the second in command, or the son of the actual owner, he passed away. Things were going good. Things just started to get rocky, and so we're fighting to see if we can get a raise on the current pay, just see if we can secure some of the benefits that we've been having and are used to for a little bit. But the union is trying to cut back because the industry is cutting back right now. Any thoughts or arguments? I'll go with you, Brianne, first. Go for it.
Okay. So my first argument is the production is actually up. Looking over, yes, they've taken a hit in the stockholders' investment, but actually profits and such are up. I understand the Me Too clause. However, because we are not falling into that same category of loss, I believe that wages should not be negotiated in this. That was my 2 cents on it.
No, I agree. It's crazy how they kind of twist that word to make it seem like they should fall in line with everyone else in the industry, when it's just to like screw the union over. Do you have any thoughts, Mark?
Yeah, that they're using the standard what's happening everywhere else to kind of as a standard for us. I also kind of want to point out that we have since they've been trying to make all these pushes, that injuries have increased, like skyrocketed. There's injuries everywhere in our group, and that's not a good thing.
It used to be fine when they left it up to the workers. They said, hey, this is a quota we need you guys to meet. I don't care how you guys get it done. It's up to you. You guys can create a way. And it was safer that way. People were participating and they were meeting their quotas and getting the profitability that the company wanted. Any thoughts, Stephen, before we wrap up?
Yeah, so I'm just agreeing with what Brianna said. Hold on, I wrote my notes down here somewhere. Yeah, it says like the workers are working harder than ever before, and they should get rewarded for their efforts. So they're making this issue of raising the pay, because I think it's like 10.69, right? Am I reading the right run?
Yeah,
because there's like
right.
okay, Because there's like two. There's 1983 and there's 1978. We're reading 1983, right?
Correct.
Yeah, 1978 was the background.
Oh,
1983 is where we're currently at in
Okay.
negotiations.
Okay, that makes more
And
sense.
then we go to 85 too.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, that was really. Where did you guys find the 85? Where is that a different document or is that?
It's the leaders have it.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. That's why I was really confused. Okay. Yeah, I
So-
just agree with what you said.
Yeah, so here's one other thing I want to bring up in this contract is they're requiring it because they're pulling the Me Too contract or the clause. Sorry,
Right.
they're pulling the clause, which is 2 years earlier, but yet there has not been a decrease. I do not feel that we should give up or negotiate with them as far as wages are concerned. They cannot prove that they are having a loss at this time.
So yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as Steven because I had to read everything. So I hope I'm not mixing anything up. But I also understand is they're building a new factory, and they want to build it outside of state. Did you guys read that?
They actually did build that, and they built it in 1982. And so currently in the 1983 contract, we are already in that building with the profit already being an increase of 20%.
They didn't move out of state. We got what
They
we
did
wanted.
not move out of state.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's good. Because I was going to say, so I'm going to be talking to James right now in the next 20 seconds. What are the things we want to fight for? Higher pay rate?
Yeah.
If not
more
not
safety?
higher, just the same.
More worker control. Like we don't have a say. It seems like.
Yeah.
Seems like we have no say, and the less say we have, the more dangerous it's getting.
So we want a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, a voice. We want a voice.
That's it, huh? All right, I'll do my best, and then we'll all meet together. So, Brianne, let me know when we all meet together in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, so we're supposed to stay on and listen, however. Just
Oh, you guys can listen?
Yeah, we can listen. We just can't contribute.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, James.
James, that's you.
Pay attention. Okay, James. Can you hear me, James?
Yes. Can
So
you
it's
hear
going
me?
to be the next 5 minutes is a battle between you and me. We're representing our groups. I'll be the union side, you obviously the management Baxter side. And we're only in the spectrum of 1983. And so what we've talked about as a union, I'll present ours first, and then you kind of tell us what management is thinking. But we feel that production is still positive, so there's no need to cut wages. The Me Too clause, it's real convenient for management. I'm just going to be blunt, but it has no bearing with this company as we see it, because we're still benefiting from our production line. Things are still good, so you really can't compare us to the industry standard where they're suffering. Granted, they're losing money and they can get labor for cheap, but I think that's what stands, or that's what makes us stand apart from any other company in the industry in our competition. So we're actually fighting, maybe even to get a raise, because we've had this pay for quite some time, and things were going good under the son. I forget his name at this time. What are your thoughts, James?
Wages, we have some flexibility. All the other Baxter plants, we've agreed to a $9 an hour rate or $9 an hour pay rate. Now, keep in mind that is lower than the 1065, but it is higher than the industry average from all the other similar producers. So with that in mind, the best we're going to be able to offer is going to be what our other plants are offering, which is going to be $9 an hour. So I feel is fair considering it's still higher than the industry average.
So let's say we still produce and we produce better than our competitors. Can we get the incentives that we did in the past where based on, how the company does, good or bad, we can incentivize the union a little bit?
We can incentivize a little bit, but we cannot go back to our previous form. Our previous form was very labor intensive. With this new plant, our production changes so quick. No incentive plan without any reasonable simplification. It will be more cumbersome to try and implement it.
So two other things that my group brought up is because of the new line of production with new technology, yes, we're cranking out more product, but there are more injuries. We're just doing things too fast, not really focusing on the health of the laborers. People are getting hurt. We need to change that. Is there any way we can put some more control back into the laborers and into the union? Because when we were making decisions and you just gave us quotas, we met those and we fulfilled all that.
I believe that we can. It's in your interest and our interest to not have sick days. That's going to slow production. That's going to cause more labor. It's going to be in our interest and your interest to spend more time in training, making sure that everyone is up to speed on the new equipment, how to process, how to handle all the new processes. So I think we can definitely come to an agreement there of more training, less injuries is a definite goal for both sides.
All right, so let's get to the brass tacks. Can we go any more above 9? Would you go 9.50 for the union? Because that's still like $1, almost a full $1 less than what we've been getting paid. And like I said, we're still producing. We're at the top of our competitors. Is that doable?
No, I've got to stick with the 9. If my fallback is going to be the industry average, and we're still above that, so I've got to stick with the 9. It's the most we can do. If we look at the not just us as a company, if we look at the big picture, if we put out any more in labor, we're going to be going out of business like other similar producers have already done.
Okay.
Bleeding edge of company on bleeding edge of production.
And what promises can we get with incentives?
Do we finish or where are we at?
I need an answer for the incentives.
Finish with that.
Incentives, we can work on an incentive based upon performance, but it won't be based upon product performance.
Oh, okay. So this is, Brianne, we can go a lot shorter with all. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows where we're at right now.
Okay.
If you can hear me, I want to see a thumbs up. D1 is out of space.
D1 and Mark.
I'm here.
Mark, I see Mark.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
maybe
here.
Maybe D1's thumb is super low and I can't see it, but. Okay, there you are. There you are, buddy.
Okay.
All right, so now we're going to break up into the groups and focus on 1985. It's going to go first again, Baxter. You'll get to talk. Then it'll go to the union. Then it'll go to leaders. And then all to see the wrap-up consensus. This should wrap up our group session for this portion, and then we can go on to doohickeys. But just so everybody's on the same board, when we do leaders, Brianne brought up a good point. You can listen in, but you just can't talk. It's just going to be between James and myself. So next time you see the red leaders, you guys can listen in, but just can't chime in.
So can the leaders tell us what we missed?
Yes. So in negotiations, the management said a hard line on $9 an hour. We were okay with that. We both agreed that safety is a high priority in training, and so we're going to go with that. We're going to focus more on that. But they did allow for incentives, but the incentives are performance-based, not production-based. So if you can show that you can produce or perform individually, you can receive incentives on that, which, to be honest with you, it seems like unions are really tough. You always get the short end of the stick. It's based on what I read, but
So what kind of
okay.
incentives was it? Why didn't we talk about what kind of incentives those are?
We have to go back to our groups. Hold on, the duck's about to quack. So that way you can talk about the incentives and that line. At least that's what I would understand.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we're going to go with Baxter for the next 5 minutes. Everybody cool on the same page? Hopefully this is working.
As a group, we're going to discuss what we've come to at this point, correct?
This is the 1985 changes. So I don't know if you've read that. That was in the leader board. Hopefully you can give your team somewhat of a synopsis of the changes.
Okay.
All right.
Do we want a little, like an extra minute for the 1985?
That's fine. We'll give you 6 minutes. Will that help, James?
Yes.
All right. You guys got the next 6 minutes.
All right. D1, Ben.
What's that?
Fast track on reading. I approached the negotiations with D2 from the perspective of 1985.
Okay.
With what I'd highlighted and sent to you. Maybe I jumped the gun.
I read over all that.
Okay. So now I'm a little lost as to what we need to talk about. I mean, they came to us, they wanted $9.50 an hour. I told them $9. That's what we agreed to. That's what other production facilities were already giving. And we were still above the industry average of $8.65.
And that is with the escalator or whatever. Not the escalator, but when the average is the top three.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think the article said the average was $8.65. But then the article also stated the other Baxter plants were paying $9 an hour. So I just want to match the other branches, the other production plants.
Okay.
They brought up an issue of injuries. Injuries are definitely negative for both the employee/union and the employer. So I definitely agreed that we should invest more time in training. And they wanted incentive pay, but the way incentive pay was previously issued and the way they looked at it was just based upon production.
Right. It was for the production of the whole plant, though, right?
I think it was based upon lines, like a production line of sausages.
Okay.
But now the same equipment with a new plant can make sausages for a day and crank out as many as they would before in a whole week.
Or
and then they switch over and do something different. So it's really hard to do production-based incentives.
Right. Well, and it was talking about them setting the bar really low because the incentive was always met.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I think either raising that mark, or I don't know if it would, how you would calculate the individual.
Yeah, that's
might be a hard thing to quantify or to.
And I told D2 that as the leader, it would be very difficult to try and do that based upon production, just because it would be so complex.
Right.
That's why I reverted to a performance-based incentive would be agreeable, not production.
Well, was it the 73 or the 78 that said there was something that talked about like raising the wages and getting rid of the incentives.
That was somewhere in there. I think that was
It
when
was in 85.
I think that was in 83 when they made the new plant. They used,
Yeah, the new Baxter plant.
yeah.
I mean, and that's, I wonder, they'd get a lot of backlash, but I mean, with it saying how they're oftentimes paying 100% of the base pay and incentive pay, like that obviously can't continue to work. So, I mean, I wonder if, I don't know if that's a more desirable, that probably in my mind at least would be a more desirable option for Baxter, not necessarily for the employees, but if I come in at $12.50 or $13, that's going to be more than everybody else is making. I'm not going to have to worry about my performance as much. Plus, it's 60% less, or however much we wanted it to be less than we would be paying in the case that there are incentives.
True. So I think the incentives, because didn't they did away with the incentives, but then a lot of the old people that came over from the previous plant were planting the seeds of, oh, this is how we used to do it.
Right.
And so all the new people were, oh, well, we should do that.
Groveling about it, yeah.
But it's a completely different scenario.
There's going to be some groveling, I think, any way this unfolds, though.
True. Yeah. One thing I learned, you can't make everyone happy 100% of the time.
No.
So, D1, any thoughts there? We got 60 seconds.
About this whole document from the 1985. Right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, so about this document from the 1985 is what you're talking about, right?
Correct.
I think as long as you hit those, these main points, like about you want to control hiring decisions more important than the layoffs. A number of issues that must be negotiated to the new contract include layoff, hiring procedures, incentive pay, work rules, and it is discussed in detail below to you. So, like, you discuss work rules, and not like you discuss wages, but you discuss work rules.
No, we did not discuss any leverage with that. All right, time's up.
Sorry, guys.
Don't tip our hand.
Oh, no, you didn't. I heard nothing. I actually unmuted my microphone, not my headphones. So.
Were you on Union?
I'm here.
Union.
All right, here we go.
Oh, good point. Good point, Ben.
So a few more things have changed. It looks like our contract is going to expire soon based on what we last agreed upon. And management wants to make things worse for us yet again. So we're at the point where if we don't get what we want, I, as a leader, am going to encourage us all to go on strike.
Okay.
Something we haven't done in a long, long time, but they need to know how serious we are. So is everyone on the same page? They kind of know.
If they're not willing to
what
budge,
issues.
then I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I completely
We
agree
need to
with you.
affect their bottom line before they'll listen to us. It sounds like.
Well, and so here's the other thing is it was brought up in the conversation, though, is we didn't discuss the layoffs, where the first set of layoffs was 226 workers. The second layoff was 325 with the new facility in the 1983. That was management's discussion. So I agree a strike may be necessary because their numbers aren't going down. So why are they being such little stinkers?
And on top of that, I believe they have like severance packages that they're trying to get the old workers out as soon as possible. And some of them are taking that, which is taking our experienced employees away. And the ones that are left over have to work double the work, not only to do what's the gaps to be filled, but they have to train the new people. And so we're getting really stretched thin and still getting less. This is multiple years after the fact, and we're still getting less. This is ridiculous. Like with inflation, we did have that to where they had a separate account for those who were in the union from the get-go that could collect on some of that, but nothing for the new employees. So, and once again, Brianne brought up a good point. We are still making profit. We're doing well, and yet why are we still getting the shaft?
Well, and they haven't given any concession. That is my biggest thing right now, is there is no concession on their part as to costs, because they're saying, labor costs, incentives are killing us, but their production is up. What they cover, they haven't given us the raise as far as the inflation. So really, I'm not sure what their deal is as why they want more out of us as workers. They want more for less.
Sounds like our competitors, right?
Yes, and they've all gone down under because of that, though. Because you lose, when you lose quality workers, you lose productivity, and if you lose all these workers, then we're going to lose more productivity, and it will start going down the drain. And
I think morale is at an all-time low, and we need to change something quickly. So, in your guys' opinion, should we fight to keep it the same? Should we fight for more and hopefully they can, compromise to a middle ground? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we should fight for more. And if not, we should go on strike, like you were saying. Especially since, if you guys read in the case too, it also talked about how the injury rates are 202 injuries per 100 employees. That's pretty high.
It's pretty ridiculous is what it is.
yeah.
Expect to get injured when you go to work.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, that's 2 injuries per worker.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is with the incentive packages and pushing out all the elder employees, that's actually costing them less.
That's true.
So again, their labor costs are going down by pushing out the older employees. The other thing is the 52-week layoff. I do not want to budge on that. I think it helps keep good people there. And also, if we did I'm assuming we did the incentive program based on production and not performance from the 83 discussions, but I'm not 100% on that. But if production is going up, then they obviously have the funds to do these incentives. So they would have to come back with really good reasons and numbers as to why they aren't. So that's in my opinion.
Sounds good. So I'm going to fight for more, or we're just walking away. And they're going to have to do their best to find a full staff to do what we do, because, we're getting treated like slaves.
And how important is it to keep it in Deloitte? I mean, this is the blood and lifeline of the town. So an entire town would be wiped out. One of every four.
Yeah, how many shareholders, right? Don't we have a huge stake on the company too?
So I'm just saying, one of every 4 paychecks comes from our plant for the whole town. So, anyways.
All right, I think I got a
Hold
game
the whole
plan.
town hostage, basically.
Yeah.
Sounds good. So just listen in. Hopefully we can do something. I have a feeling we're going to go on strike, but hopefully we can compromise. Here we go.
Okay. Really quick, how long do you want?
5 minutes is sufficient.
5 is sufficient? Okay. James, unmute.
Before we start, for the sake of the recording, just so you're aware, Baxter team has been communicating through Google Hangouts on the backside during our quiet time. So we are continuing the discussion.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
That works.
All right, leaders.
All right, James. So
All
I've
right.
talked to the union, and we are not very happy.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Baxter and the Local 190, we've been doing this for 50 years. I mean, we are a major economic force in this town. We've done a lot in good faith. What can we do? How can we make this work?
No, I'm glad you're coming at me with that attitude and that positivity, because we do want to make things work. We feel like our backs are up against the wall. There was a lot of layoffs over the past few years. On top of that, you offered severance packages to some of our more experienced employees, and the ones that are left over from the original crew, we're getting stretched thin. We're having to pick up the slack, and we're having to train a lot of these new people. Once again, safety is an issue again, but still the same pay rate after so many years. I mean, are we looking to go up? Because we're hoping that. Still, we're at the top of our competitors with production and profitability, with not having to pay as many employees. With the severance packages, I would think you have some labor wages you can shift. So let's talk about labor wages first.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
Labor wages. I'm still stuck at the $9 an hour where we were at with the other branches. I mean, I hate to say this, but you guys, we can agree to a lockout. I mean, that's where we're at with labor wages. We can lock out the plant. We can bring in scabs, whatever you want to call them. We can bring in other non-union employees. I mean, that's our back is against the wall. Now, what I can offer is we are currently undergoing a recession here in the early 1980s. I can offer you good faith that as soon as the economy turns around, we can revisit this with sincere efforts, but there's simply nothing in the economy in our current production that we can offer.
So is there a time frame, or is it just a big question mark as we'll see how the recession turns out? Because if we're just hanging on that and we can't revisit it until when you think the recession is over, we'll be hanging on to that promise, till the cows come home.
Oh, I agree 100%. So with that, let's sit down. Let's put down some economic markers.
Okay.
Let's see. What would be fair to you? Let's say we're going to reach where our numbers at. We're projected at 1.5 million in sales. Let's say, and our net earnings, let's say we hit 1.7 in net sales, and our net earnings are at 50,000. With that, we have a definite number. We can say the economy's good, bad, it doesn't matter. But as a company, we're able to make it work, and we can invest in our employees' personal incomes.
I think that's fair because, from the get-go, we were all about producing. You gave us figures to work with, and we made it happen. So, yeah, we can work with that.
And just to help you guys understand with the layoffs, we understand that change is hard, and so we did offer these severance packages to the older, more seasoned employees who may have had the opportunity to get out. And so we did offer that to them. It's a whole new ballgame. We've got a whole new plant, and I feel that with that, we benefited, they benefited as individuals. And
So, in that vein, there's still some of the union workers that are still left over. We're worried that once this contract is up again, that there won't be any layoff protection. Can we still carry that over with the 52 weeks? Because otherwise, we're fearful of our jobs. We can lose them. You can lay us off tomorrow, and we're screwed. So, is there any way we can secure the 52 weeks of layoffs coming into the new contract?
let's see. Yes, as long as we can retain control over the hiring. If we're going to control what leaves, I want to be able to control what comes in. I want to invest quality employees in this company that don't want to leave, and the 52 weeks won't matter because we're going to have quality employees.
You can hire them. Can we train them?
We can come to an agreement on what's going to work for our equipment, because this is still Baxter equipment,
All right,
not union equipment.
fair enough. I think we can come to an agreement. How much time we got?
You're done. Time's out.
Time's up.
All right.
That was intense.
That actually went really
I saw
well.
Ben.
Like,
Ben was shaking his head like, no, don't give in.
he's like, don't even, James, I would come through that computer.
Oh, the man trying to weigh us down. Get out of here.
I see how it is.
I'm just kidding. I had fun with it. Granted, it wasn't like anything we're really losing in real life, but it's tough. It's tough when you have to work with both ends and come to some kind of compromise. So it was a good experience though overall, I think.
Definitely different, because where I work here in Idaho, we don't have unions per se, so I have almost zero experience with them. So
I have a real life example of you dealing with unions now. In Canada, there's only 2 unions left, really. The teachers' union and the nurses' union. Every other union's been wiped out up here. But the teachers' union and the nurses' union are huge. Like, they're so big that they're a voting bloc on their own. They determine elections, which is really weird since there's no other unions. But the teachers' union just went on complete strike in my province. And they are going on 6 weeks now of college being completely out. So students have lost an entire semester.
You don't have to worry about that.
wow.
Yeah, so imagine your teachers going on strike and losing a semester. Not only that, the college is not going to refund you. And the teachers are even, you know how you plan for a semester, right? The teachers are actually demanding as part of the negotiation the money that was set aside for the students as a financial relief for compensation for their time off. So sometimes the unions are way too powerful.
Well, that's what's happening in California. In a lot of places.
Yeah.
When I was in California, and I know that term scabs very well from I was a non-union worker, so that was what they called us. They didn't like us because we were non-union. They called us the dark side.
Yeah, the union workers don't like non-union workers. In Ontario, it's required, like in Canada, the teachers' union is so big, if you're a teacher, you have to be in the union. That's
Same
like,
thing with Utah.
yeah, it's big. So it's quite ridiculous. But yeah, after this, people are actually looking at it as like, wait a second, why are these guys still around? So I think they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, and I understand the purpose of why they were created, especially in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah, absolutely.
I totally get why they were created. I really do.
I feel they've served their purpose for the most part, in my opinion.
I think a lot of legislation and human resource laws have replaced them.
Yeah, they're a relic. They're a relic that
All
hasn't
right.
been, that is not aware they're a relic.
So, kind of wrapping up this group discussion, you guys have an opportunity to read the conclusion on your own. It actually was kind of taken from the Hormel company. I don't know if you guys had a chance to read it at all, but Hormel, they had these issues back in the 80s. There was a strike because they didn't crack, and they replaced a lot of workers. But you can read all that and then in the synopsis of where they drew from this case study. It's funny. Hormel was the one who created Spam, and Spam was just crazy frenzy. Us Hawaiians love that stuff.
I keep hearing that. I thought that was a joke.
It's good
But
stuff.
you actually like that stuff.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So wrapping up this discussion, James, you will take on the leader role in that you'll do the writing assignment for the leader. You won't
Correct.
have to focus on anything doohickeys. Just focus on that, and you can write it from the Baxter perspective of what you gathered from our discussions. Write something up maybe by Friday so we can take a look at it and submit it by Saturday. I think even that due date's pushed back till next Tuesday. But,
It is, but yeah.
Yeah, that can be your main focus. Have a happy Thanksgiving. For the rest of us, we need to crack down and finish this doohickeys paper. Derek, at D1, solidified the problems that we want to focus on. So I don't know if you guys taken a look at that. So all those who are working on solutions, please start writing those up. Maybe if you can come up with bullet points by, by tomorrow night. And then I can have somewhat of an introduction and conclusion. And then we need to finalize our writing to give to Stephen. Stephen said if we could get it by Sunday morning. So he has Monday to kind of tinker around with it, and we can see it Monday night before he turns it in Tuesday morning. Does anyone have any questions on what they need to get done for doohickeys?
I think I'm good.
If anybody needs help, just let me know, because I am literally sitting at home with just my husband and I this week. So
Lucky you.
I'm super pumped.
I'm gonna be a zombie this entire week, but I will get it. I'll get it done.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I think this
We got
was a
this.
productive meeting, and we
Yeah,
stayed
it
within the
is.
time frame I was hoping to work with. So if there's no other questions, I think we can wrap it up. I'm
Thanks.
going to send you the link, James, and then all you have to do is put it on the question and the answers discussion board and say who attended. And then,
Sounds
like
great.
I said, the write-up is in your court.
Okay. Thank you, D2, for talking to the instructor and getting us allowed to do this in such a short time window, being Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, I hope he accepts it. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, he will.
I think we're doing great as a group. I enjoyed
Yeah,
this.
I think it covered all the aspects that needed to be covered. So it was a good job, guys.
Yeah.
Prep from everybody, really, truly. Good job.
Yeah,
All right.
definitely.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Be
Yeah,
safe.
happy American Thanksgiving. Enjoy.
Happy Canada non-Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get Black Friday.
Oh, okay.
Friday?
Second most watched TV show in Canada is watching the news when Black Friday. Watching American news and Black Friday and the Stampedes. It's hilarious.
And you
We record that crap. And if you think I'm kidding, I'm not.
could just set up an American Thanksgiving over there for yourself, right?
There you go.
Yeah, I double dip. On my mission, everyone thought I was American, so I always got American Thanksgiving, and I served in Canada. I wasn't complaining.
That's
See you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy
Thanks,
Thanksgiving,
all.
guys.
Done.
See you guys.